meet you, Gathag.
It could be a potential thought. I have heard she's a mighty warrior, but she's unlikely to be your match.
I mean, would that not be a way to discredit her? Just beat her in single-handed
Embarrass
combat.
her in that fight.
Embarrass her in front of her kin.
Wouldn't necessarily need to embarrass her if you challenge her on the basis that if she loses, that to end, then if she's a woman of her word, which she seems to be, then that should be enough.
It's assuming Galthat can win. I have every faith in you, but we don't know how strong this
Of course I can win. Of course I can.
You never know.
Have a little faith.
I mean, the king did say, like, he's heard she's a good warrior, but he doesn't expect her to be a match with Alpha. There is something else, my lord. And discretion speaks up from the... No, not discretion. The other guy. The other guy. Sorry. Erlen. First Chancellor Erlen speaks up. He's sort of... There is the other matter, my lord. The king sort of... Ah, yes. Perhaps best spoke of quietly. Erlen, perhaps you might escort the group out, unless you have any other questions.
I don't think so.
Very well. And Erlen sort of stands up, and if we remember Erlen, he's quite young for his position. Quite an attractive young councillor. But he is the first advisor to the king. And he's sort of very fashionable, very well oiled. Even at this time in the morning, in this cold morning, he's kind of got his hair pulled back and slicked back. He's wearing his fine courtier doublet. And he's sort of, if we might perhaps walk to the gate together or something.
Of course.
The Prince Regal has been travelling to Jahump and back to find Verity's bride and to court her on his behalf. And that is all well and good. It's just he stops in Turlake more often than perhaps he should. Perhaps you might find out what it is that is so distracting him. That his trips seem to get delayed at specifically that place each time.
About how long does he spend in Turlake?
As long as he can each and every time.
Well.
When it should be a day, it is 3. When it should be 3, it is a week. And when it should be an hour, it is a day.
Where is the prince now?
I believe he is headed on across the Blue Lake prior to the winter. You can't cross it in the winter. Blue Lake. It's near frozen over and the currents are quite difficult, so he has headed up to Munzai and Jaham. But he almost left it too late. Staying in Turlake, I'd like to find out what keeps him distracted there. If you would, but quietly, please.
Absolutely. This is right up Winona's alley. Are you kidding me?
Cool. Obviously, you have 2 options when you go there. You have some super cool mounts, so I'm assuming you want to ride them, which will take you... It's more direct to go like that across land, but it is obviously less quick than a boat down the river would be. But yeah, you can sort of take a ride across. You'll probably need to stop 3 times on the way to Turlake. No, more than that. You'll probably need to stop whatever 3 times 3 is. 9 times on the way to Turlake. It'll probably take you about a 10-day to get there. Over land.
How long by boat?
Probably about a week. Either way, you should arrive back pretty much a couple of days before midwinter.
Okay, if we want to get there quickly, I won't fight against the boat this time.
Well, it's a barge, right? It's not the same as one of these big, big seafaring vessels. It's a roan, narrow boat that will.
Even better.
Yeah. No rocking, no seasickness, lots of lazing about.
Yeah. Let's. I'm down to take the quicker path.
Based on the way there.
Yeah. Okay, that works. Anybody have have anything against going on said canal boat?
Our boats are fine as long as I fit in a damn thing.
Oh yeah. The barges are huge. These are the same barges that they're going to use to escort the wood and the somewhat some elements of the built boats down the river. So they will be huge.
I'm fitting that, so that's fine by me.
Yeah, the River Arvin is approximately 60 feet across at its narrowest point. It's a fairly swift-moving river. Obviously, you're going upriver, so the journey up will take a lot longer, 7 days, than the journey back, which will take about 4.5. The king knows of a particular bargeman who might be of interest to you, specifically to Winona, actually.
Oh, really?
He will be shipping. He's the son of a gentleman, a rather well-known gentleman, a gnomish gentleman, in fact, who owns a diamond mine.
Oh my god.
And they will be shipping some gems up to Turlake, where hopefully in the spring they will head on up to the Mountain Kingdom and such.
Okay. You said the guy, the one who owns the mine is the one who owns the boat also?
It's his son who owns the boat. They're both
Okay,
gnomes. The father is called Olsen, that is Olsen. The owner of the diamond mine, and the bargeman himself is called Nick.
Nick. All right.
It's short for
Olsen and
something, but he's
Nick.
not sure what.
Oh,
I
wait,
think
you mean
Nick
this
knows.
guy?
Nick knows what Nick is short for, but the king doesn't know what Nick is short for. Neither
What
does
his own
Alan.
full name was.
I just saw Michaela's face go. He doesn't know his name. Yes. So bargeman Nick is in town. He's headed off in the next 24 hours. If you have anything to deal with before you head off. The only thing I suppose that we might address before you head off is young Kepit and his new tutors.
Yeah.
How much you question what he's been learning from his new tutors? How interested are you directly in his studies? How much time do you spend sort of interacting with Kepit?
I mean, the last few weeks we've been around, I've probably spent the time that I'm not working with Monona, just with Kepit and...
Right. So
like,
you are
watching
taking
the
quite an
lessons.
active role.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of the lessons start off with quite simple stuff, but stuff that you would know to be tuition of a royal court. So the bloodlines of certain noble families, the history of each duchy and the dukes that rule them, and also sort of the crests and the emblems of each duchy. Geography. There's some language spoken. They seem to be teaching the boy Elvish. It seems a tad unnecessary for an 8-year-old, but well, hey. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's when they're best at learning languages.
And there is a suggestion that he might learn to ride and possibly to fence, although those lessons won't begin until the spring when it's a little warmer outside. Though Kepit was quite excited to hear that he might learn to fence with a sword.
He probably would have ridden with me some.
Yes, but sort of to ride, in a combat sense, not just in a sort of this is how you sit on a horse sort of sense.
Kid's 8.
Yeah, but you've got to sort your horsemanship out if you're going to be a I don't know why there are crickets. My bad. Yeah, if you're going to if you're going to be a little lord or whatever he's going to be. You do notice, however, that one particular tutor, a gentleman who calls himself Silk, is talking about it's diplomacy, I guess, but it is definitely a sort of persuading others to do your will, and sort of the proper way to address those in power and the proper way to address those at sort of royal occasions. But definitely there is a tinge of the you might need to be useful to us later on training going on. But right now, for the most part, Karina, it seems harmless. It is just tuition. Silk many times mentions there is no harm in knowing a thing. It is never bad to learn. Apparently. But if you have no qualms, yeah, you can pack off on the barge.
I think I might at some point pull Kepit aside and just say, listen, but take a bit of a grain of salt, and I'll explain, the phrase "a grain of salt," and just sort of just think for yourself as well as listening to what your teachers say.
Okay. He sort of nods, and he very much puts Corinne on a pedestal. It's not quite like a mother replacement, but definitely like a sort of rescuer. And she's also magic, which is kind of cool. So yeah, he's got a lot of respect for her and listens very well and sort of nods and wishes you luck on your travels. Yeah, I think if nobody has anything else, I will suggest that you get barging.
Let's barge.
When you get down to the inland docks, they're called. So Valaris has 2 docks, one in the town on the river and one sort of out at the harbour for the sea. So you go to the river docks. And it doesn't take you long to find Nick. It's actually Nick Fallon is his full name. And he is a gnome. Quite a sturdy gnome, quite thick set. And he has 3 men on the boat with him. That's a strange. Oh no, that's who that is. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I got very distracted by comments in chat. But yes, he has three men on the boat who appear to be sort of oarsmen, if you like, or steersmen, I guess is a better way of putting it. They use 2 long, sort of 2-handed paddles at the back to propel the boat for the most part, and then the 3rd man cranks a wheel, which sort of seems to rotate a line of paddles that keeps sort of tilling the boat along. But Karini will swiftly realize that there is also some magic to this boat. It seems to be enchanted in some way to be a bit swift, and it's going against the current with way too much ease. You start maneuvering. But yeah, it's quite comfortable. There's room for each of you. Does Vero fly behind or run along the beach, the bank of the river, or?
That sounds like a lot of effort. Vero just flies around, probably killing sheep on the way.
Right in the countryside, jeez.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, like it's kind of like when in Game of Thrones when Dany's dragons do that, and then like they show her like the bones of children, except Luca wouldn't care.
Except Luca wouldn't care. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think for the most part, Vero keeps to animals. I think that's fair. But anyway, no, we're not measuring the distance. We're traveling.
He's a vegetarian.
He's a what?
He's a peopletarian.
He's a peopletarian,
like a vegetarian.
Yes, but except vegetarians do eat vegetables,
He does eat people. I'm just bullshitting you.
Okay, very good. Yeah, on the first night, you pass sort of halfway across Berwick. It's a relatively swift journey. You do see a few villages on the coast. Who's well travelled? Kai and, well, maybe not Kai, actually. Maybe not the land travelled. This might be a bit more relevant. You might have travelled distances, but not peoples. I would say Karina and Galfak. Give me an insight check as you look across at the villages that you pass. Luca, you might give me a perception check if you would, please.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Well, insight is not Galthak's strong suit.
Galthak really likes the rocks on the bank of the river.
Yeah, they're pretty. I want to go grab one.
Sorry, Karina, you got
17.
Okay. And Luca, perception.
I got a nat 20 for a 30.
Nice. So very quickly, Luca, you will notice that for this time of year, there should be a lot more fires burning, sort of smoke coming out the top of cottages, I suppose. Not like bad fires, like comfortable fires. There should be lights on. in this
Where are all
neighborhood.
the forest fires at,
I know, right?
people?
You will also notice that there's a fair lack of, a fair increase in wildlife in this area. You'll see more birds than you would expect, more animals than you would expect. And you even pass one village where there doesn't seem to be a person at all. Karina, with your insight check, it looks like a couple of these villages are almost abandoned. And even in the villages that aren't, there are many less people there than you would expect.
I would like to. I would like to use my Vero speak with animals to ask said animals, probably the birds, where all the peoples are at.
Yes, birds renowned for their specificness with this sort of information. They will tell you that less people. Since the hot season, there have been less people. Less hunters, it's good. More prey, also good.
Vero will just say, "Ah, yes, less hunters," and then just eat them.
Okay, you're gonna
Wow.
eat. I thought you were talking like a hawk or a falcon, like another bird of prey.
Yeah, and he doesn't distinguish.
Okay, well, go ahead and
Me?
give me a survival check with Vero's stat block. Let's see how well Vero goes at hunting. Falcon be quick. If he has no modifier, it's a straight 20. D20 plus any wisdom modifier. He might have.
18.
18. Yeah, okay. Falcon fucked. Yep. After getting the information required, Vero eats the bird and reports to you that the bird is dead. Doesn't tell you any of the information he gained, just that the bird is dead.
That's 7 piercing damage and 5
The falcon
lightning.
had 1 hit point. It's screwed. Yes. So as you continue onwards, I wonder,
Right.
Karina, what is your response to seeing sort of deserted?
Well, I rolled pretty high on my insight, so I'm gonna mage hand a pretty rock from the shore and give it to Galthak.
Oh, lovely. You rolled high enough to work out that Galthak was distracted by the rocks. That's what we're going with.
That's sweet.
Hold the phone.
Mm?
Karina, did you get that for me?
Yes, Galthak,
You
that's
were
your
looking
name.
over there. Yeah.
Can I hug Karina without crushing her horribly?
I don't know, can you? I would assume so. You hug Karina and then you hug your rock.
Fantastic. I
You're
love
welcome,
my
buddy.
rock.
Is anybody sort of engaging Nick in conversation, or are you guys like keeping to yourself and making swift progress?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Yeah, I'll talk to him. He's like he's a upstairs. He's an above ground gnome, right?
He is indeed. He is a rock gnome. So he is mostly a mountain dweller. He spends as much time underground as his father spends as much time underground as above ground, but he prefers being above ground most of the time.
Cool.
And he's married a forest gnome, he will tell me. So she also likes them being above ground. And he's quite pleased because his family are not far from Turlake. So he's returning home effectively with this journey.
Oh, so the mine is in this vicinity somewhere?
No. If you ask that, he will tell you that the mine is not far from... Oh, sorry, did you ping near Turlake?
Yes.
Yeah. So the mine is not far from Turlake, but basically he's taken some of the ore and the gems down to Valaris to be refined and cut and whatever, and he's now returning with the finished jewellery back to home to Turlake, where it'll then be shipped to elsewhere. Some of it will have been sold in Valaris, but he sort of notes your interest and says, "Are you interested in gems and jewellery and such?"
You know. us gnomes. My family's in pretty much the same business, just underground,
Oh, wonderful.
underdark jewels.
There are some beautiful jewels down in the underground. Lovely, lovely things. I've never much enjoyed it myself. I much prefer running the barge. It's up and down the river. It's ever changing, ever beautiful, you know. Although
Yeah,
the sights are
just change of
normally
pace.
yes, the sights are normally a little more pretty when they're not being chased away by that dragon. Mighty big, quite intimidating. Doesn't eat any of you.
No, not yet. I don't know. I heard he's gonna get bigger, so I'm a little
My,
worried.
my.
But
That's a little large. Well, so be it, I guess. I obviously you are traveling on business, should we say, on behalf of those who are
yes,
rich and poncy as it is. I don't suppose you might push the family Fallon name about. We do make excellent jewelry, unless of course your own family is a business you promote.
I mean, I am a businesswoman at heart. I understand. So, yeah, actually, I would love to see some of the work.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
We have quite a few nice pieces. Um, some of the best are reserved for Duke Lanoth and his clientele. He hosts the most magnificent of parties, you know, Turlik.
oh,
Yes, they're always wearing fancy jewelry and great dresses and such. Wonderful place for a ball is Turlik. I haven't been to any. Yes, and he sort of lays out all these beautiful gold and silver necklaces, emerald set circlets, really lots and lots of very well wrought jewelry. None of it seems to be magical in any way, though. Winona, give me a tinkerer's tools, I guess, or jeweler's tools, whichever one you're proficient in.
I am proficient in both. I do not have like a
Great. So
skill
just
thing.
give me a proficient int roll.
intro. Okay.
Yeah, with proficiency modifier.
So with plus 17.
Nice. Yeah, some of these pieces are very well worked and contain jewels of quite high prescience, so you would be able to use these for creating magical jewelry. They would hold a spell or two. One particular ring takes your notice. Its large ruby stands prominent and seems almost to buzz with latent magic. You think that you could weave something quite exciting out of that, though. I'm not quite sure what the results would be as yet.
No, I mean I'll ask about it. Certainly, like something about this ruby seems very special.
It does. I don't get much involved in the jewelry itself, as I said. I just transport it up and down the river. But,
that's right.
Well, if it interests you, it's not reserved for the Duke. I could part with it at a discount if you're interested.
Oh,
Have it
okay.
yourself.
Yeah. How much is he asking for it?
Oh, I don't know. 65?
Is that a good deal?
Give me an...
I'm asking, would Winona think that's a good deal?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay.
With advantage, you are a jeweler.
Thanks.
Well, your first roll was a 17, so I don't know what
They
you were
were
hoping for.
both
with the second.
17.
Okay, great. 17 is plenty. I suppose it's only like a 8 on the dice, right?
I rolled an 8, yeah.
Okay. Plus 9. It's a very, very good deal. Provided you do something with it, right? If you turn it into something magical, it is going to have a value of more than 65 gold.
Okay, yeah.
You forget that you guys are like super rich, right? So
I am super rich, but I just want to be a bit.
Yeah, whereas, no, I mean, like, it might be quite an expensive price for a ring for a normal noble, but for you guys, it's very manageable. You're used to purchasing magical items, and this is a non-magical item. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I will take him up on that offer. Yeah, thank you, Nick. I something about this ring is really speaking to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good. I hope you take some joy in it.
Yeah. No, well, I won't wear it.
No.
I don't think Winona wears a lot of jewelry, but I will tuck it away.
It does seem to have some latent magic involved, as I said. So you can investigate that in your own time, or perhaps
Yeah.
gain some help on it. And I believe Karina is becoming part-time artificer as well.
Yeah. Let's study.
But yeah, go ahead and as you sort of play with it, I guess, work on it, whichever way you want to put it. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, Winona.
All right. Ugh, not good. 5.
No, you don't
Karina,
understand.
can you take a look at this?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You don't understand much about the magical side of this. You understand how something could be worked in, but not what magic could be worked in. You're beginning to get the impression that maybe this is designed more for a wizardly type. Karina, give me an Arcana check with advantage if you are willing to take a look at Winona's ring.
Yeah. 21.
Nice.
Yeah. It currently doesn't seem to be containing any specific magic, but you feel like it could potentially store magic. It just needs to be worked to be attuned to a specific owner. If you guys spend sort of a couple of days working on this, you might be able to turn it into a ring of spell storing.
Ah. Great.
We have several days of travel left, so
You do.
yeah, I will help with that.
Yep, so all I need is an Arcana check from you and a Tinkerer's Tools, Jeweler's Tools, Intelligence Proficiency check from Winona for each day. And once you both get the combined average that you're looking for, you can have it. And if you don't, you can't.
Oh,
How many
no.
days are left?
You've got 6 days. So we'll
Great.
start on day 2. Just go ahead and roll me the Arcana and the proficient intelligence.
I provide moral support.
Now we're talking.
Oh, okay. Winona just banging out a
25.
22 first.
I got 20 on the first one.
Okay, I thought an average DC of 20 was going to be quite difficult to get. Apparently not. Day 1, success. Bring a spell story.
We're in
Cool.
sync. We've already done these. We've already been doing projects.
And I knew Karina's modifier was pretty high, but I thought Winona was going to weigh you down. Apparently not. Yeah,
Wow.
so ring of spell storing. Obviously, you also have a ring of action, which Vero has suggested Jamal might want.
Oh, thank you, Vera.
You never know when the dragon should contribute its opinion on who should wear what ring. Can dragons attune to rings?
No,
No.
Oh,
It's big sad.
not generally.
Not generally. Okay, well that's alright then. We can make a case specific. So obviously, Karina, it doesn't necessarily need to be you that attunes to it, but I am assuming it will be you that fills it with spells. You've got 5 days of travel if you wish to if you wish to store the, I don't know what it is, 5 levels worth of spells at a time. I don't know, something like that. I think that's correct,
I will pull Kai aside after we've created it. Okay, so Winona and I made this, and I think it can hold magic inside, and I don't know which of us might find it more useful, but one of us could put spells in it that the other one could cast, or couldn't usually cast on by themselves.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there anything that you've seen me do that you want to do, or vice versa?
Well, it might be good for me to hold on to it just because it could affect more people with single target spells. What spells do you have?
I will open my spell book and show Kai my spell book.
Yeah, cool. I think what we'll say is that you can sort of either message each other or we can sort that out as and when we get there. You're probably not going to need any spells before the break. Spoiler alert.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we'll maneuver up to that moment. But apart from the Ring of Spell Storing, which I'm sure you will fill with something exciting. Do bear in mind that it doesn't actually have to be a spellcaster that wears the ring. It only has to be spellcasters that fill the ring. So you could technically have Galvac with shield right? Or something stupid like that. I don't think he needs +5 to armor class, but
I can't believe that doesn't.
Not only that, right? But you can also give it a concentration spell and give it to somebody who doesn't normally concentrate on a spell, like Galthak or Winona, and then they can concentrate for
Oh
you.
my gosh,
But-
so many possibilities.
So there's a
Galthak
lot of
rages.
things. No, yes,
Oh yeah, Galthak rages.
yes.
I
so-
assumed it was like requires attunement by a spellcaster, but no,
Nope,
it just
no.
requires
I mean,
attunement.
obviously, you don't want to give it to Galthak because, like Kai says, Galthak rages and then it's completely fucking useless. But you might, for example, have
Is that
Winona concentrate on a. Yes, it does count as casting a spell. It specifically says it is treated as if you cast the spell.
Because otherwise, if I could concentrate whilst raging, that would
cannot
be
concentrate
disgusting
while
That would be
because
so
I would
broken.
never drop it ever.
You cannot concentrate while raging. That is not possible.
No, it does not happen. No. Otherwise, that would be
No, but for example, Winona right never gets hit, so you could potentially both put spells into it and then have Winona be able to utilize your spells, etc. So there's some suggestions.
True.
I do bear in mind that Luca concentrates on a spell all the time during combat. So probably not worth putting it on him. Just make Winona cast haste on herself with it.
I would totally
Boy.
put haste.
There's
boy.
haste. Chill
Yeah.
out. Anyway,
Heck, she can haste Galthak.
well, there is that.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
so while you guys consider those opportunities, it is worth mentioning that the boat does stop on the third day at Rivermere. You have not been to Rivermere before. Rivermere is the residency of Duke Shemshi, I believe, of Niven. You have heard rumors of Duke Shemshi not allowing refugees into his cities. He's been a bit of a dick, really, when all is said and done. If you remember, we had a huge roleplay moment where you were at a city which you didn't let anybody in, and then we realized that we weren't actually where we thought we were. But that's that dude. So yeah, but when you pass by Rivermere, it's beautiful. It's fantastically well kept. It's like sprawling river estates. Wonderful gardens line the river on either side, and
Did
Nick
you
is-
just say a sprawling river of stakes?
no, I said sprawling riverside estates.
No longer interested.
Someone's hungry.
Me too. Me too. My slice of
I'm hungry as well. Fucking hell.
Anyway, so Nick Fallon is able to stop actually in the Duke's estate. Still no stakes. But he is selling some jewelry to the Duke, and the Duke invites you all in for a meal, should you wish. Would you all like to partake?
Does he have steak?
Oh, yes.
Surely.
Much of it, and the best. He's very well to do. He's sort of in his late 40s, early 50s. He comes across as an incredibly vain man. I'm going off of Kai's passive perception, passive insight. He comes across as a very vain man, sort of wearing many rings, lots of jewelry. His wife is similarly bedecked in many different sort of jewels. He is dressed far too ostentatiously and not practically at all for the current weather. And he's sort of, in the way he sort of suggests the meal and introduces himself to Nick and dismisses you guys. Not necessarily, he's invited you for a meal. He knows who you are, but he doesn't address you by name. He doesn't want to acknowledge that he knows you by name. You know, he's sort of very pompous.
He doesn't address us as heroes of the realm.
No, he doesn't. He does raise a small eyebrow at the dragon. But in general, go on.
Do I notice this?
Oh, I don't know. Do you notice it? Give me an insight check. See if you notice it.
Another nat 20 for a 27.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I'd like your dice. Can you bring them in here?
The two of you both have rigged dice.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm all in front of you guys. D&D Beyond is rigged for me. Although that might not happen a bit later today. I've had some problems with Beyond 20. Yeah, no. You can definitely tell that he is a little taken aback by Vera.
I shall gracefully walk past him and then stop and turn to him and say, "But you've never seen a dragon before."
Not so close.
No, I imagine not. I also imagine that you've not dined with several heroes of the realm before, have you not?
Well, that entirely depends on how one defines a hero of the realm, does it not?
I'll take that as a no, since you want to sidestep the question.
I think-
Before you reply, I just want to say that you may not like to address us as such, but we are said heroes of the realm. So if you could point me to the fabled River of Stakes, I'd be very much appreciated.
Well, I had heard that you had good manners, but, well, not always stories are true, I guess. Nevertheless, yes, I'm sure we can provide a
Manners.
meal. I'm sure we can provide a meal fitting to your station, whatever that might be.
Thank you. Manners, being humble, who has the time?
Indeed, who does? Well, if you would, I'll show you through to the Great Hall, and we shall eat in there, I think. It's the finer of our halls at the estate.
I think as we walk, Vero will walk past him, like head up, like shoulders back, and just kind of like strutting past him, and kind of goes like as he walks past.
I believe we shall be graced by the presence of Starling Birdsong tonight. She'll be singing for us. I don't know if... maybe Karina and Kai... I don't know. Kai, how much attention do you pay to other bards when you're at court?
Not really. I mean, when, like, I don't know how many bars I've met since I've been on land.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that you've probably heard Starling sing at the court of Valaris. Karina would have done as well. She's probably the most famous bard in the country, though Kai is probably pushing for that in a different respect. She might not be the most famous person with the bard subclass, but she's likely the most famous minstrel as such. So yeah, she's very well known for the songs she writes, and in fact, she has written a song about you all.
Is she gonna play the classics, or is she doing new stuff?
Well, I don't know. A bit of both, I'm sure. I'm sure she's written a song for the occasion. She usually does. It is said that she favours Turlake over any other... favours Rivermere over any other hall. Though, she may, of course, just being nice to her host. It's tradition, you know, to be nice to one's host. Please, come on through. Take a seat. I will provide you with some wine.
Sure I suppose they don't say anything about being nice to your guests.
I'm sure that you shall find the hospitality acceptable. Come. And,
I'm sure I shall find the servants nice of you.
I don't think you'd say that. But nevertheless, as he sort of leads you in, he turns to you all, and I heard you dined fairly recently with Duke Kelvar. Is that correct?
Indeed.
How was his household? Was it satisfactory?
Satisfactory in what way?
I've heard he can be a little tight-fisted.
Oh no! It was lovely.
What?
Like he's a cheapskate.
Yeah. He doesn't lavish much upon his gift. His sort of says, well, I mean, his home is quite provincial from what I've heard, but he shows up well enough at court, and his new bride is quite lovely, I suppose. If you, he sort of invites you to gossip, but if you don't, he sort of nods and appreciates that perhaps he should be not speaking ill of his colleagues, I guess.
We're just watching with a raised eyebrow as he keeps talking.
Yeah. So, go on.
I was just gonna say, Luke and Vera are currently eating like they've been starved for 25 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, yeah,
Just no table manners whatsoever.
as expected. Yeah. So he begins by sort of inviting you all to partake in the first of what turns out to be sort of 8 or 9 courses of food. There's a shellfish course. There's a palate cleanser. There's a soup. There's a suckling pig. Lots of things going on. Go on.
Luke is gonna use the same knife and fork for all dishes.
Oh, great. Well, yeah, I mean, so knife and fork is not really a thing, but I suppose it can be a little thing. So traditionally, you use your hands and your own table knife. That's sort of about as posh as it gets. No, we're too far back in history, and we're too provincial. Let's bring your own
But
table
there's
knife.
spoons.
Provincial.
Oh, there are spoons. Yes, they do spoons. They're sort of a little more like ladles this time. But yes, they do. And
Well, but we've got palate cleansers.
yeah. Well, food often sort of is more exciting than the way of which you can be eating it. So there's, the animals still exist, right? And they can all be eaten, even if they haven't quite developed the fork properly. But there are sort of traditions that you would all know, or some of you would know, such as tossing the bones over your left shoulder for the dogs, other such traditions. But yeah, this sort of 9-course feast it's ostentatious, but it's not very tasty. It's like more effort has gone into making the food look fancy than has actually gone into making it taste good. It's a bit of a shame, really. Vero, especially, really not impressed with the spoiling of the meat.
I don't know who I'm sat next to, but
Probably Galfak.
okay. Then I'll whisper to Galfak. Did you bring your own salt?
I bring my own what?
Salt.
Why would I bring salt? Why?
Suddenly, I will suddenly summon Zephyr to my shoulder and just slowly just feed bits and pieces up
Oh,
from my plate.
you're feeding.
Just-
Hmm. He sort of looks over and an interesting bird. Have you?
Yes, isn't he?
Is it a bird of prey?
A falcon.
I've not seen one indoors before. Does the bird find that uncomfortable?
Do you find it uncomfortable?
No, a tad unusual.
As is everything about this night.
Well, yes, I suppose that's true. Anyway, I believe we should grace you all with a song. Or, no, far from it for me to grace you with a song. That would be truly awful. Starling Birdsong. And as he sort of gestures, it's difficult to see even how he made it happen, but like as he gestures, the door opens and she comes through. She's quite young, sort of early 30s. She appears to be human or humanish. And she sort of strikes her lute and begins to sing the song of the Great Worm Riders.
Oh, yeah.
She has graced her guests by singing about them.
Finally.
And yes, she seems to know your names and much else besides about you all. But then she sings a song that is a little more unusual. Go on.
When she finishes singing about us, as I'm clapping, I'm gonna very loud enough to make sure our host hears and just be like, "It's so lovely when people write songs about your great deeds."
Yes.
Clap.
Bravo.
Well, indeed. They were hardly going to write songs about your table manners.
Oh, shit.
And he smiles.
Stand up.
I don't think so. But you can if you really want to. But nevertheless, she will go on to sing another song. And this song probably never going to get sung at Valaris. is about the Inland King.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, the Inland Prince, not the Inland King. The Inland Prince. Of far richer blood than brothers of his, who graces the court with his tidy feet and pretty dancing. It doesn't take you long to realize that he's singing of Regal, the youngest of the princes. Or that she's singing of Regal, sorry, the youngest of the princes. And some of the comments at the table, specifically from the Duke to his wife, seem to imply that Regal is more highly favoured than the king or either of his brothers.
my goodness.
You've not experienced this before anywhere else. In fact, quite the opposite in most places you've been.
I know we had something, but I'm not sure where we learned it, so I'm not sure where it is in my notes. We know that his mother was from somewhere else, but I can't remember where.
So his mother is from Tradeford, and yeah, she was of richer bloodline or of more royal bloodline than Queen Constance is, who is the current queen. So, in naming their child Regal as well, you know, very much sort of pointing out the royal bloodlines, and it seems that. Yeah, I mean, Rivermere and Tradeford are obviously a little far in from each other, but what is most notable about them in comparison to the other places you've been is they are not coastal. And indeed, Rivermere and even when you went to Sandsedge, it was a lot more sort of expansive and rich and beautiful. It was less martial than Valaris or any of the other sort of coastal cities you've been to. It's understandable, perhaps, that one raised here might see those of the coast as a little provincial.
And of course, these inland areas are safe from the raids.
Yes, very much so.
What did you say the bar's name was?
Starling Birdsong. If it's of interest, she is 5'7". She has deep, dark brown hair, startlingly bright blue eyes, and a slight elven curve to her ears. She is, however, dressed a little bit like as if for the road, and she does have a sword at her hip.
Well, Gandalf.
Perhaps. Well, perhaps it's normal here. Who knows? The shrimp course is truly dreadful. The steak finally turns up.
Oh
It is
no.
ponsily overcooked with this sort of weird sweet wine dew that's poured over it. Yeah, it's sort of everything has been ruined, and the final course before the desserts is this tiny little quail. And honestly, there's not even enough meat on it to be worth it. It's slightly gristly and not very tasty, but it looks cute, I guess. Almost
I'm
perfectly
gonna-
served
almost
on the
perfect.
plate. Go on.
I'm gonna turn to Vera and say in Draconic, no wonder he's so bitter. I would be too if the food was this horrible.
The minstrel hesitates slightly as you say this, and as if trying to stifle a giggle. Whilst she
And
continues singing.
I think Vera will turn to me and say, "Can I eat him now?"
At that, you do notice that her eyebrows sort of hit the top of her forehead briefly. Oh, she continues singing, very professional.
Great. That's why she's the best.
I'm sure it is that. Cool. I'm assuming we don't.
I'm so tempted to turn the time back on the steak.
Well, do remember it won't become a cow. Just letting you know.
Just uncook it a little, that's all.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
definitely a little overcooked. But sort of this meal continues in much awkwardness. Nick is fairly quiet, and you see that he doesn't eat much of the food that's provided for him. But the Duke will very kindly suggest that if you wish to take rest, you might do so on my estates if you wish. And Nick sort of, no, I think we should get back to the boat. Travel.
Yes, we've
swiftly.
trespassed on your hospitality long enough, I think.
Oh, such a shame. He doesn't seem particularly upset. But with that, he will in the final course. I mean, he won't. The servants will. Which is this sort of very ostentatious decorated cake. It's far too sickly sweet, and nobody really touches it. Well, the Duke seems happy enough, and Starling once again sings the tale of the Great Dragon Riders. Great Worm Riders, whatever. It was whatever. She sings her song of you, and then she sort of takes her bow and takes her leave. Yes.
Now that
Very
we've
much
had
her performances.
You are getting a headset for Christmas. Sorry, Laura, you said?
I will very much applaud her performance as she leaves.
She's very
Me too.
appreciative. And she bows and smiles at each of you. Cool. You were saying, Luca?
Since we then headed for a second time, would we remember enough of it to sing along?
Ooh, give me a charisma check. You may add a modifier a proficiency modifier if you're proficient in history.
The same modifier. 15?
15. Yeah, you remember the chorus. You're able to bandy the chorus about a little bit. And she is very appreciative of that. Although, she's not quite as sure of the quality of your voice. Okay. With that, the Duke sort of bids you farewell, and Nick is very much... that is not what I was looking for. And Nick sort of suggests that you will make your way back to the boat and get on with it, basically, down the river. But as you are leaving, you are approached by a fairly sneaky customer who leaps over the edge of the wall around the orchard through which you're being led. She sort of, hey! I'm sorry. I don't want to impinge upon your hospitality, upon your privacy. I wondered if. Can I ask you guys a couple of questions? Just a couple. It's Starling, the minstrel.
Oh. Of course.
Where are you going?
Wait. I don't see any reason to lie to her. We're going to down the river to Tur Lake.
Oh. And onwards? To the mountains? Or just to Tur Lake?
Is there a reason you're curious about it?
Well, many. First of all, I've written both of the most popular songs about you all. As I'm, maybe you know. Big fan. I just, where you go, deeds are done, that can be heroic. And, well, a song might be in it. And, well, somebody who witnessed the deeds firsthand would, of course, write the best of versions. And speak so highly of you all. And I just wondered whether perhaps you were going to the Mountain Kingdom and beyond to look for the Elderlings?
Oh, wow.
No?
That's what I keep saying we should be doing, but
So,
but I guess not at this moment.
rumors with minstrels are, big rumors. They go fast, and there was rumors that you were seeking information on the Elderlings, and, well, the bards will tell that it's past your hump,
Do they?
They do, many times if you say it while Josh's mic's unmuted.
Every time.
Yes, Karina, they do. They do speak of the Elderlings as being, well, over mountain and forest, land and sea. Deep to the west, the Elderlings may be. The road to Jaham,
Oh.
You don't know the
Right.
rhyme?
No, I think we've heard that, didn't we?
We have.
Maybe not that exact rhyme, but we heard something very similar, if not.
Would I know much about this place, considering the location?
Or to where the Elderlings are? No,
Yeah,
not a
would I've
clue.
heard of it, considering I'm further north of that?
No, so they... West, Jamal, west.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right,
considering I'm the Ice Plains, it's like I'm further north of it.
Yeah, no, it's sort of onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards.
Oh, way beyond the mountain ranges. Yeah, I
old
wouldn't
tales,
fucking know about
yeah,
that then.
Um,
Yeah, no, okay.
She,
Do bardic songs mention anything else about Elderling?
well, many minstrels, myself included, do think that the tale of the wise men may be to do with the Elderlings.
I haven't
know the
heard
one.
that one.
Yeah, of course you do. 6 wise men came to Jaham Town, climbed a hill, never came down, found their flesh, lost their skins, flew away in stony wings. That one.
Have we
Most
heard anything
definitely
like
not.
this?
Was anybody?
I've never heard a
Was anybody
damn thing
raised
like
on
that in my
land
life.
in Arvenia?
No.
Luca, right? The only one, I think, raised in a normal. Luca, give me a history check. Disadvantage.
Let's go, Luca. You know this.
12.
12. You don't remember the words, but you definitely heard it before. It's like a nursery rhyme, basically, or so you thought. I think I'm gonna have to put in a handout, so give me a second. I will read it to you.
Well.
But, I figured you might actually want to remember it. Oh, it's gonna paste it in white. That is something.
That's very useful.
Fantastic.
No, as in like, it's pasted the background. Can I?
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So it's 6 wise men came to Jaham Town and climbed a hill and never came down, and found their flesh and lost their skins, flew away on stony wings. And it continues to talk about the 5 wise men, the 4 wise men, the 3 wise men, the 2 wise men, the 1 wise man. And it now says that no wise men go to Jaham Town to climb the hill and never come down. His wise are far and much more brave, to stay at home and face the grave. It is thought, according to Starling, as she sort of artfully stands, her hand upon her chest, her arm up, as if she's performing to a wide audience as she sings you this song in the middle of an apple orchard near the river dock. But she thinks, and many say, that these are the tales of those who went seeking the Elderlings. So originally, 6 wise men seek the Elderlings. They never came back, but it's assumed they got there and found what they wanted. And then, indeed, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 perhaps didn't achieve their goal, and now no wise men go to seek the Elderlings to Jaham Town and beyond. So say the tales. She says that the lore in the mountains may give far more information.
I'm gonna very heavily throw my arm over her neck. I'm just gonna be like, no, we're not going there this time, but we brave souls are going to a little small town of Clyde, and we're gonna stop an unruly gang of thugs that are spreading treason and hatred. You're very more than welcome to join us and write about that glorious adventure of the majestic
I could
6.
I could travel with you.
The
and
majestic
travel with you?
6.
There's
Yes.
and right of you. There's only 5 of you.
6 if you count the dragon.
Oh,
Gotta count the dragon.
I count the camel.
7 if you count the
She's not here.
She's not. Missy is back at home. But yeah, she would be absolutely over the moon. She says, I can defend myself if I'm attacked, so you don't have to look after me, though I'm not much of a minstrel's fingers, precious. I'm self-sufficient. I've got my own stuff. I've traveled the land a lot. I won't get in the way. I promise. I just. You mean it?
Well, perhaps it's time to put you in one of your little songs. This way, and I shall lead her towards the boat.
Which is like 8 foot in front of you.
Yeah.
Great. She's very grateful for the directions. But yes, she's obviously a little, not overwhelmed, but like super excited, and she's definitely fangirling a little bit. Which
so
Luca's
she
probably
seems
laughing
legit.
up. Oh yeah, she definitely. You know, as she's on the boat, she sort of keeps. She's actually quite annoying. She's like, you know, Galthak, tell me about that time that you charged down that raider and whatever, and then like she's sort of asking Kai about that sort of the diplomatic agreements that Kai has made, sort of like really asking all of you about the deeds that she clearly knows almost as much about as you do, but she like wants to hear it from you guys. Yeah. So she's very much like, yeah, just fangirling basically.
Kai is very uncomfortable with this.
Good. You know, and any time you guys don't respond to the question, she sort of fills in the gaps herself because she's heard so much of the tales, right? But there are some tales she hasn't heard of. Nobody saw you fight the Kraken, right?
Thank you. I'm like, we need someone to talk about
Kraken
this.
So yeah, you know, you can whatever tales you tell her, I'm sure will pop up in song later on.
Oh, fudge! I will major image the Kraken fight while you know we tell the
Yes!
story.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So
it's like
Nick had been doing his best to
reenactment.
like not get involved and like ignore this because he just thought it was all a bit much. But when you start major imaging the Kraken fight, suddenly the boat starts slowing down a little bit, and you notice that all 3 men who were running the boat and Nick are all sort of paying rapt attention to Karina and sort of taking notes fastidiously as you will recount the story and that. Yeah.
I'm hiding this whole time.
I love that for you. But basically, she does also sort of really increase the morale, I guess, on the boat. She does play a lot of music for you guys, sort of strumming in time, nice joyful jigs, that sort of stuff. She asks about 6 million questions about Vero. Or Vero, sorry. I don't know who Vero is. Yeah, she asks questions about Vero. And yeah, she just seems very interested in all of you. She also will share with you some of her knowledge. She will, for example, tell you that the Inland Prince song is one of the few songs she performed at Rivermere that is not written by her. She finds Regal a little pompous and self-obsessed.
Yeah.
A little more well-to-do than he deserves to be. She much prefers chivalry and the work he's done on the borders. But if you, she will tell you that if you work the Inland Dukes, you've got to know the Inland Dukes songs, and they worship Regal and the ground he walks on.
That one is requested a lot then.
Yeah, they seem to think that he cares more for the inland duchies than King does, you know. As far as they're concerned, they pay great taxes to the king, only for him to spend it all on defending his coast. And march on them.
Wow.
Of course, if it wasn't for the coast being defended, they would all be taken over by wild barbarians, but they don't experience it.
How much interaction have you personally had with Regal?
I've met him many times and sang for him many times.
Does she blush? I want to know if she blushes.
No. But
Okay.
she sort of she seems quite humble and modest in this sense when she says, "Well, I sang for him many times, but only as a guest bard. You know, I haven't spoken to him personally. To none of the princes."
I see. Just trying to get sort of a...
He thanks me for
read.
my songs well enough, and well, he's got a courtier's tongue, and he's very polite, and he dances very well. But you know, when he's in his cups or at the smoke, you know, he shouldn't speak ill of the royals.
No, feel free. Speak your mind here. This is a safe place.
Well, you know, you work for the king, and I wouldn't want such words to get back to him. But and she sort of
We don't
smiles
go
and-
reporting to anyone in that way.
Well, in that case,
If you know what I mean.
when he's in his cups and he's at his smoke, he speaks of how he is of higher royal blood than his brothers, and you know that his mother always said that he should be king next, and that he would unite the inland duchies and really care for them and, bring a resurgence of trade to them. If he wished to rule after his father, he would have much support in the inland towns and cities.
Ah.
I find him a little distasteful, to be honest. And he has a disregard for proper decency to women.
Yeah. That was the vibe I got as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Different woman every night. Or something. Although, rumor says otherwise in Turlake.
Oh,
What have you heard?
I've heard that he visits somebody. Though, no one knows who they are. They haven't been shown at court. But he visits a home in Turlake. I don't know which home before you ask. But the rumors do say that he visits a specific home. Often late at night.
Mm-hmm.
But, well...
Well, you know, princes, they will, what's the word? Philander as they will.
But they will. And of course, she will keep talking forever, but we will not. And as you guys begin to arrive in Turlake, absolutely exhausted from Sterling's repetitive questioning, we'll take a short break. Hello, and welcome along back to episode 9 of Soulforged. We have reached the town of Turlake in a magnificent and magical act of teleportation. The boat sort of pulled up on the inner river harbour. You'll very swiftly notice that this town is huge. It's a city, for a start. It is definitely absolutely massive. Mostly by virtue of the 12 or 15, huge warehouses at the center. These are massive timber-led roofed buildings, bit like the old sort of Viking longhouses, really long and fairly wide, with sort of open patches for light coming through the roofs. And then around that, you've got various residential homes, and sitting almost on the lake itself is what almost could pass for a castle. It's definitely a fort of some sort. And next to that is a palatial house. Almost a mansion, I would guess. You would assume that this is the home of the Duke. And indeed, Nick will bid you farewell and thank you very much for your custom.
Thank
You
you.
can assume he's been paid by someone. And he will wish you luck with your ruby gem and with your travels. And he will remind you once again, to spread the name Fallon. Excellent, Jules.
Absolutely.
What's the plan now we have arrived in Turlake?
Like, what is it? Is it daytime? Everyone's out and about?
It's about 12:30 in the afternoon. I was not expecting to be asked a question. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon. There are lots of people out and about, but it is cold. It is very cold here. Colder than it is in Valaris. There is a very brisk breeze coming across the lake itself, which if you look out, you will see sort of big hunking icebergs out of the lake, and notably no boats at all.
Ah, yes. Too icy to sail through. All right.
It also has waves.
Oh, wow. This is like a very big lake.
You can't see the other side.
Yeah.
is it like uncomfortably cold?
For everybody other than Galthak, yes.
Perhaps our first stop during the day should be to swing by a clothing shop, grab a few coats.
That's wise.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually, I'm not sure whether Luca would be cold either. I kind of forgot you have fur.
Aw.
What do you think? Does Luca get cold? In the winter?
I mean, I think everyone gets cold. I mean, like, I would say he probably can stand it better than, like, humans, but if we were going like in the Mountain Kingdom, I would say that doesn't. He would need like extra layers and stuff.
So you'd still be interested in a big winter coat in the winter cold?
Yeah. I just wouldn't necessarily need it like all buttoned up like a
Of course.
human would.
Yeah, but Karina is talking about buying cold weather clothing. Yeah, it would definitely be a good idea.
Okay.
Nice, sturdy, fur-lined footwear.
If you're willing to part with 10 gold pieces each, or just 50 flat from someone, you'll be able to buy yourself winter clothing and winter shoes or winter boots. I'm not sure which they come up as. This is genuinely equipment on D&D Beyond. I believe they give you advantage on constitution checks to withstand freezing temperatures. Amongst other things, you're probably not quite at that level of cold right here.
I assume Galthak doesn't actually need it.
No, useless to him.
I
So
will not
I
be
will-
needing any warmth. I am
Oh, so
very
that's 40,
comfortable.
yeah, 40, not 50.
I will spend 40 to cover the whole party.
Oh, thank you.
It is... Travelers? No, it's definitely winter clothing, isn't it? Why is it not coming up?
I was looking for it too.
We have it in Icewind Dale, right?
I know. I was about
Yeah.
to go check my other damn.
Yeah,
sheet.
if you find it, let me know what it is. I may have accidentally turned off some of the sharing or something. Let me reactivate that and see whether that helps. But anyway, yeah, it's
Clothing, cold weather.
clothing, cold weather. Yeah, clothes. Cold
Yeah,
weather,
but it's
like-
not coming up here.
Okay, well, if you want to know about it, there's a link there for the D&D wiki, and later on we will find it. Additionally, you have disadvantage on saving throws to resist the effects of hot weather while wearing them. So don't wear them in the heat, idiot. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And the winter boots will give you advantage against losing your footing in icy and snowy conditions. I think that I might need to provide those. But yeah, with you all wintered up, you will notice a couple of things going on. First of all, a huge amount of traffic to and from the warehouses at the center of the city. Hundreds of people coming and going. And secondly, there seems to be some sort of kerfuffle going on in the south of town.
Oh. We should definitely investigate that.
You hear sort of sounds of shouting, sort of a bit of a raucous noise going on, really. Like villagers with pitchforks, basically, but not quite.
I will tap my tattoo and create my mage armor.
Okay. That is pretty cool. What will give you that? Does it look anything at all, or does it just sort of
Just like a shimmer that comes across and then fades.
nice?
Golden shimmer.
Ooh, show off. Yeah. Are you guys attempting to discern the source of the kerfuffle, or are you like, nah, we're good?
Well, I
Yeah.
think we're definitely going toward that.
Yeah, let's see what the
Okay.
kerfuffle's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
when-
going on?
As you make your way to the southern part of town, you see 3 men. Each of them is in stockades. Their hands and head in the block, so to speak. And villagers are pelting them with what appears to be, for the most part, rotten fruit.
Oh no.
Now, the question: why?
Are you directing that to anybody in particular? Or are you just going to stand
Not
there
yet.
and go, why?
Just like, why? Just in general, just like, why?
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, Galthak looks ponderous.
I'm gonna ask one of the villagers why they're throwing things at these people.
What a great idea! Who would have thought of that? Yeah, as you turn to them, they are witted.
What?
It
Witted.
was.
Outwitted who?
No, not outwitted. They are witted.
What is that?
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
You
for
don't
us.
go? You've never heard of this?
Well, look at me. I'm not from here.
Hmm. They share their minds with beasts.
Oh,
They can control animals. Call them to do their tasks. The one on the right, Caro! A whole flock of chickens died because of his fox that he's bonded to.
I think at this point, I will begin to whistle
What point
a nice
by the
tune
way?
and
Sorry.
begin to walk away from the scene with Vera until.
Yeah, you get a lot of very shocked and frightened looks towards Vero, but nobody is quite brave enough to speak out.
How many men are there
3 in the blockade.
in the stockades?
They appear to be, perhaps one is 17, 18. One is about 23, 24, and the third, Caro, is in his 50s, maybe 60s.
How close together are these stockades?
About 6 feet apart each.
It's just slightly too far away.
Oh, sorry. That's a bitch. I don't know what you were thinking of doing, but yes.
yeah.
What are you thinking,
What was the
Karina?
vibe?
You probably shouldn't fireball them. I mean, like, they might be witted, but they don't need to be
No,
dead.
I would have liked to just, set on the ground and just casually sit there until a tiny hut appears over them all.
Oh,
Oh,
You can shield 2 or 3.
interesting. I mean, what is being bonded to an animal? What do you mean? Like it's a familiar?
It's definitely not something that you guys have ever heard of before. It doesn't appear to be anything specifically D&D related, I'll give you that.
So it's not like Find Familiar.
No, it's also not necessarily like a Beastmaster Ranger. They share their mind with a creature, as if sort of brothers to a beast, or so she'll tell you. And then she starts telling you wild tales, which Karina would immediately know not to be particularly true. Where like she'll say, "Oh, they can turn into beasts and control the minds of beasts." It doesn't sound like anything you've heard of before.
Is there anyone around like I don't know, like a guard or something who seems to be in charge of these guys who are locked up?
There are 3 guards behind them, one of whom sort of is wearing what looks to be a captain's uniform, and 2 either side who seem to be just sort of looking around. And then as you look the other way, you will see that there are 4 or 5 guards, one of whom is holding a large wooden sort of wheelbarrow full of rotten fruits.
They are being supplied with rotten fruits. Okay. I guess I'll ask the captain. Excuse me. What? I hear these men are witted. What sort of crimes were their animals responsible for?
You're not from around here, then?
No. See?
They are accused of being witted. That is the crime.
Oh, that's the crime. Oh, goodness.
Those that bond their minds with animals. Awful business they get up to, you know. It's dirty,
Like
no
what?
magic. Illegal. Has been for years in Clyde. It's the old magics. Dark plots, you know. They can control your beasts, have your horse throw you while you're riding it.
Ooh.
Have your crops go wrong. Your livestock die off to strange diseases. Attacked by birds in the night. All sorts. That one there, and he points to the youngest of the men. He was turned down by a girl. She was found dead, floating face up in the river. Her whole body's scratched as if by a cat. And everybody knows he has a hunting cat.
Oh, wow.
That's all
Face-
the evidence that was.
You should see the way that cat looks at him and the way he looks at that cat. They've got a connection. I tell you, unnaturally is unnatural.
They seem quite powerful to be able to do these sort of feats.
Oh yeah, you've got to watch them. Real careful.
Is this the extent of their punishment then? Or
No, they're to be
is there
executed
more in
tomorrow.
store? Oh, I had a feeling that's where it was going.
Hung, drawn, and quartered. And burnt.
Oh. Ooh.
Got to, otherwise they rise back as beasts.
My goodness. Is anything like this sounding familiar at all to someone who knows stuff about animals or magic? Nope. No, this is totally...
No, between the ranger and the wizard and the bard, I'm pretty sure that they all know that none of this is potentially possible with any of their magics. Well,
barbarian knows as well from nature.
Yeah, I mean, like, certainly you would know it's no natural beast relationship. Obviously, I suppose there are elements of the magics that they're suggesting that can even be seen between Luca and Vera. But, you know, only elements of. There are also elements of the magic, you know, in terms of sharing minds with a creature that could be seen between Karina and Zephyr. It's only this sort of rising back as a beast or controlling other beasts. As you guys are talking, you suddenly hear sort of a huge loud crack. And as you turn, he's sort of, "Oi! No rocks!" And you see that somebody's thrown a rock at one of these men. But it's hit the blockade instead. The stockade, sorry, instead.
Why don't you stop all of this, let alone the rocks? They're gonna die tomorrow. Why torture them now?
It's always the way. Anybody due to be executed tomorrow, 24 hours for somebody to ring their peace. They've got to be displayed in public in case anyone wants to take the punishment for them or challenge in rightful combat.
Challenge.
In rightful combat.
Yeah, if one stands behind the witness stones and swears that one of these men is innocent, they'll fight a champion of the crown.
Champion of the crown.
If they win, then the party's innocent. Everyone knows that you can't speak falsehood behind the witness stones. Before the witness stones is what I meant, not behind.
Champion of the crown.
Sorry, go on, Luca.
Go
on, Luca.
So I obviously walked away from this scenario to not draw attention to myself. Are there, as I'm walking around, is there anyone who's shown any kind of disagreement with what's happening, or is everyone in the town pretty much fuck up?
You'll see a few people just generally looking a bit horrified or upset. There is a young boy asking his mother why this is happening, although she seems to explain it in a way that she thinks they're evil. But specifically, you notice one girl, she's about 25 years old, ginger hair, and she's shouting at some people, telling them to stop. And that specifically Caro, the older man, shouting that he's innocent.
I'll walk over to her, who's shouting. I'll just be like, "Psst, you."
What is it?
What's all the hubbub?
Yeah, say it like you don't know. Say it like you don't already know. Go on, make your mockery.
Mockery. No, I've got nothing. So what's all the hubbub?
What do you mean, what's the hubbub? You can see it. Look at it. Look at how they're treated. Like beasts. Or worse. For what? Rumours.
You're saying they're innocent. Do you have proof?
I know my father wouldn't share his mind with a beast.
You'd be surprised what lonely people do on lonely days.
My father's not lonely. He's happily married, I'll have you know.
I didn't mean it in a weird sexual sense.
Just shakes her head at you, and then she starts shouting at the crowd again.
Wow. I guess your mind's lost too. And I'll continue whistling and walking around. Try and spot a bakery, maybe. Get a patisserie or, I don't know, a scone, maybe.
Oh,
There's a woman
God.
selling bread and another woman selling cakes at market stalls.
So I'll go browse the cakes.
Did the guard list all the crimes of the three people? I heard the one with the cat.
Just said they were witted. And no, he didn't mention what proof they had of them being witted.
And which one was the
Or
one with the cat?
accusations.
Wasn't
The
the old
youngest,
man, was it?
the youngest man, who
The
was about
youngest.
17. Yeah. So far, the crimes of the 25-year-old haven't been mentioned.
I've just said these men stand accused
Mm-hmm.
of a
Being
crime they haven't defined.
No, they have defined it, being witted.
Yeah, they haven't defined what they've done. They've just said being witted, and that's it.
That is the crime. Sharing their minds with a beast, that is the crime. Am I being confusing?
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't suppose we would be allowed to speak with these people.
Did you ask the guard that?
Yeah, I'll ask the guard.
Sure, you can talk to them if you want. Might want to dodge the fruit, though.
I was thinking it might be a little awkward, but
Georgie, please don't know why you'd want to talk to them unless you're going to stand for their peace.
no, I'll just give them some more personal insults up close, you know.
Yeah. Stay away from the middle one.
Oh,
Evil.
what's
Why the middle one?
he the strongest?
Yeah, I don't know much about all this witted magic business. But the things they say you can do and that he's done, oh, I'd watch it if I was you. He's a farmer lad, I think. We're out of town. They say he's bonded to a whole flock of crows.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm looking around. Do I see any crows or any kind of animals
Give me a
about?
perception check. We definitely see animals.
We definitely see
animals. Chickens, there are pigeons, there's a couple of dogs, wild cats.
25.
25. Sitting almost directly behind the middleman, on top of a well at the centre of town, is a single crow. It does appear to be looking at him, though it is at his back.
Oh man. If only my speaking with animals ranger was nearby.
I hate to disappoint you, but the ranger can't speak to animals. Their dragon can.
Oh, you're right. That is Vero's
The last thing that Vero
Oh.
spoke to, he ate. So, yeah, do your thing.
Right.
Mhm.
No, I think we, at least I want to talk to the Hughes personally.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You move up. You see that the 17-year-old, 18-year-old, has his head hung in shame. He is looking defeated, sad, frustrated.
Aw.
The elder man is looking indignant, angry. The middle man is looking thoughtful, slightly angry, but like the determined set. His mouth is set in a thin line. His hook-like nose sort of focused over as he appears to be looking at each member of the crowd individually, one by one. Sort of, his eyes linger on each one for a moment as he continues looking across.
Oh my god, I've got it.
He appears unfazed, by the way.
Wait. Guys, I've got it. We're in the world of the Golden Compass. These are demons!
Are they? Okay. Oh.
Oh. possibility.
Unlikely. I haven't read that book in years.
Interesting theory.
And it's unlikely that the
I
author of
mean-
this book decided to just steal shit.
I'll just.
Who could possibly steal from Philip Pullman? Who could possibly?
Not Robin Hood. Anyway, what's the plan? What are we doing? Winona, you're going up and chatting to them, are you? What are you saying to them? What are you asking them? I'm assuming you're not actually
Yeah,
just
I
getting close for an insult.
No. I mean, I want to just ask, I guess, generally. I'm trying to present like I'm not here to cause more problems for you. I'm just curious, maybe, about how true these accusations are.
Okay. So you approach what? The youngest one, the oldest one, the middle guy? What's the plan?
Oh, let's go with the young one, the kid.
Okay, about 17, as I said, looking defeated, looking down. What do you say to him?
Hello, excuse me. I just wanted to see, is it true what they say about you being witted?
Sort of looks up at you. If I could turn into an animal, do you think I'd be stood here getting hit in the face by fruit?
No, I guess not.
If
So,
anybody was a witch or a demon or an animal bonded person, it was the girl. We spent one night together in the haystacks. After that, she turns up dead in the river, and I'm in a stockade.
oh, I see. You. Oh, go ahead, Karina.
Because I would have followed her to the younger
yeah,
one. Yeah, because that's the one that.
I figured that the three of you
Um,
are probably moving together. Galvac is a little further away, and I don't know what Luke is doing, wandering about looking for pastries.
I'll observe a little bit from afar, but I'll try to
So,
listen in if I
yep.
can.
Go ahead, Karina.
So does he appear to be telling the truth?
Looks like it. I mean,
Does it sound like it?
I would normally ask her an insight check, but at this point, like, you already know that what they're professing he's capable of is like not possible, right? He's certainly saying to you, if he could turn into an animal and he wouldn't be in these blockades, you believe that that's completely true. Though
But
he
about
doesn't
the
seem
girl.
innocent. He doesn't come across innocent. But she was definitely did turn up dead the day after he was in the haystack with her. You know that from the guard.
I will. I'm just kind of going to ask pretty much the same to the other two, but I'll go to the middle guy next. Is it true what they say about you being witted, or do you protest your innocence?
Wouldn't you like to know? Meddlers,
Yes, I would.
question askers, meddlers. Back off or you'll die with the rest of them.
Rest of who? Who's going to die?
Them. And he sort of points with his hook-shaped nose towards the crowd behind you. Each of them die for their judgment, die for their judgment.
Ugh. I see. How are they going to die? You know about this?
Slowly. Painfully
Okay.
vicious.
All
Violent
right.
deaths. You're gonna be next.
Me? I was hoping to maybe help you all if you
And how would you help?
are truly innocent, but
Innocent? What is
Sounds-
innocent? Are any of us innocent?
of the crimes that you've specifically been accused of.
I've been accused of sharing my mind with a beast.
Have you done this?
He sort of gives you a little smile. Gestures over his shoulder. And as he's saying this, the crow takes flight from the well and flies down, swoops right past him. And then
Ooh.
does a circle and goes back to the well.
I see.
He says nothing more to you.
You know, a murder of crows would be so cool for a swarm keeper.
Oh, that would be cool.
Pretty badass.
Maybe that's what this guy is. Yeah, I'll just go on to the last guy for completion's sake.
Yep.
Do they?
What
Are
do you
you
say to
are
him?
you truly witted? Are you innocent of these accusations?
I've done nothing to any man's cattle or chickens or whatever it is they're accusing me of. We all know it's because of my daughter. They think she's a witch. She is of sorts, I suppose. They call her a hedge witch. She makes charms. Simple. She's a nature, a woodsman. She's got some art to it. My second boy was born with mismatched eyes. I always knew it would come down to something like this. When my wife left, my last line of protection left.
Why are you the one here then instead of your daughter?
Scared of her. They're all cowards, all of them. Look at them, sheep. Each follow one another.
Yes.
People tend to fear what they don't understand.
They do. But I've been a farmhand for 40 years. I have no power over no beasts. Unless you count being able to make a chicken lay long after you'd expect. I do raise good chickens. You come to laugh at me or to get me out of here?
Unsure at the moment.
That fella you got with you looks like he could fight the peace with anyone.
That's sort of the thing we heard. We possibly could defend you all, but this is so.
No, just
I
one.
mean- Oh, it is just one?
Unless you've got more than one of him.
I mean, we have
He
like
looks kind of unique.
yeah.
What does he eat?
It's cool. A lot of everything.
A lot of everything. I love that. He doesn't reply that.
Fucking
either.
true.
Yeah. Of all of the three accused, he looks like the only person who's not trying to hide anything. He just seems really sad, down in his luck, frustrated, indignant. You do see that he looks a little bit like. Actually, you didn't meet Jenna, so you don't know that he looks like her or vice versa. But he will sort of motion towards the ginger-haired lady who's shouting about his innocence.
Well, all right. I'm gonna step away and kind of regroup. I think with
As
Gothak
you
and...
step back, there is a crack of lightning
Oh,
from a completely still sky. And as you look over, the central blockade that once contained that man contains nothing.
Oh.
Standing on the well where the crow was is the same man. Curse on you all! He shouts. And as he leaps up, he sort of raises his arms and black bat-like wings, or raven-like wings, I suppose is a better way of putting it, drape across his shoulder. He takes flight into the sky. About 30 foot into the sky, an arrow pierces through his throat. And a woman wearing what looks to be a bear skin on her back walks into the center of town. Can't we even keep our prisoners under control? What has this become? She looks like that, if that helps.
Oh.
As the man crashes to the ground, she reaches over and she pulls from him a cloak with raven feathers down either side. A magic cloak! That's what you're scared of? No beast magic. Though perhaps a simple spell to teleport.
oh
Fools,
boy.
led by the crowd. Slain by me! Slain by my blood! My arm. A swifter execution than he deserved, no doubt. But not for the crimes you accuse him of, witted. What is this? Old blood, they call themselves, those who bond with beasts. This man is bonded with no beast, though he might lie with one occasionally, and look at him. A desperate man, the father of a witch, perhaps. Witted. These jokes. If you wish to, take your anger and fury out. You can ride with me out to the coasts and fight back the red ship raiders that come to our coasts. Fight on behalf of our people, like the weak Farseer heirs do not. Come with me. Seek the old ways. Join the hunt. You'll not regret it. I see you, warrior. And she gestures towards Galthak.
Oh,
I see you all. Strong arms. Strong magics. Strong wills. Turn them to the ways of defending the land. Not to the downtreading of these beasts. Will you stop me as I slice away the bonds that keep them ridden to wood? These men could fight for us. And as she walks up to the stockade, she slams her sword, the back of it, the hilt of it, down on the wood. The wood cracks as the stockade breaks on the old man. Come, old man! Back to your daughter and whichever goat you sleep with. Go! Witted, I say. Fight, you old fools! Who will join me in the hunt? Come on! Will you, big man? She looks at Galthak.
I won't be joining you on the hunt. Not today. When the time comes, I will take the fight to them. For the
So
time
we
being,
should
the
if we had
land
more.
needs defending.
Strong men like
For the time
yourself.
being, the land needs defending.
That it does. Who will join me in the blood rituals? Who will join me in the hunt as we prepare for the coming of the spring and the defending of our land from these foul raiders? And as she sort of raises her arm, she sort of slices it with her dagger and a bit of blood comes down and she sort of waves it across the crowd. And most of the crowd sort of roar and raise their fists.
oh, they like that.
You notice behind her there's about 15, 20 men and women. All in the same manner, sort of these tattoos down their arms, wearing animal skins. All holding wooden, sort of wooden bows, either at their side or on their back. Blades or maces or some look like handmade weapons at their hips.
I ever heard of these group of people before?
No. I mean, yes, about
days
2
ago.
hours and 8 minutes ago, when the king sent you to find Virago. But apart from that, no.
Right.
The city
So they're
guards.
not a
seem to
bad
be-
you've ever encountered before today.
No.
Fair.
The city guards seem to be edging towards her. Although I will say, Galthak, that some of their mannerisms, their ways, their tattoos, even the skins they wear, are not that dissimilar to the Goliaths of the north. It's a very tribal thing. The city guards seem to be edging towards her, though, as they sort of all look to the captain is shaking his head.
Yeah, I'll give a glance over to him and give him a head shake as well. They don't want to stop these people.
She moves over to the second the stockade with a young man in it, and she strikes it with the back of her sword. Galthak, it's a blow that, you would be able to strike, but it is surprisingly powerful for a woman of her stature. And as she shatters the stockade, the young boy, she sort of pulls up to his full height and... Go! And when I call, join the hunt. But first, we must fight in the blood rituals. Who will join me? Who will slay a worthy beast and declare themselves a true warrior?
Tell me, what are these blood rituals?
It is
More
simple.
about this.
You take a beast's life in fair combat or in slayed by your own hand, as a warrior would. And when you bring them down, you proclaim yourself part of the hunt. For in the spring we will hunt raiders instead. You must find a beast worthy of your
What beasts
abilities.
are worthy?
Well, what beast is worthy of you, great man? That is a question. Well, I know of one beast that is beyond you. quite sure. But if one slayed it,
I'm interested.
they could proclaim themselves the foremost warrior in this land. Tisn't a beast I would take on, that's for sure. But the people of Turlake and of Moonzai alike would be glad if the spirit of the lake was quelled. But
The
such prey
spirit
is-
of the lake.
Such prey is far too powerful for the likes of you. Perhaps you could take a stag! Or even an elephant.
What were those creatures on that island again? The big fuckers that I couldn't take 3 of.
Yes.
Or the hawkers, was it? Or am I thinking of a...
Do you mean the blubber beasts?
Yeah, the blubber beasts.
No, that's a pitiful foe, really. You slay them from afar with a bow. It's easy. No, this is a mighty beast.
Why
40
would I
times the
slay
size
them
of
from
you.
afar with a bow? Look at me.
Well, indeed, spoken
Would
bravely.
I not cleave them in twain? With the grandest of swings.
Ah, but if brave and powerful you truly are, why not quell a beast that causes trouble for all those around? See the ice floating upon the lake? There could be trade all year if the spirit of the lake was quelled. But no, nobody is willing to fight it. I've called my men here, but cowards, one and all! They will not fight it in combat. But you and your companions. She very astutely nods towards Winona and Karina. She hasn't eyed up Kai or Luca. Luca's probably in a patisserie.
Yeah.
But she has noted Winona and Karina. Perhaps you and your companions, if you were to slay the Lady of the Lake, I would bow to you myself.
I would like to hear more about this spirit.
Oh, they call her the Spirit of the Lake. I think she's little more than a sea serpent, but a big one at that. A mighty beast. A difficult fight you'd have on your hands. But a worthy one.
But she causes the lake to freeze over. It's not just winter.
Indeed. For all those who know well, know that the Blue Lake is made of, not of fresh water, but of seawater.
Oh.
It is salt water. Salt water doesn't freeze. Unless, well, the serpent rises.
Unless...
Will you raise and slay it down? I'll bow to you if you do. That's why you've come, isn't it, Galthax Stonebreaker?
Oh, shit.
You even know me by name.
As you know me. I hear the Duke is calling for my ways to be quelled. Show me how you are stronger than me, and I shall bow to your will. But let us not waste our blood in combat with one another, when we could be fighting raiders. Let's instead slay a true creature. What say you?
But I say I'm impressed. You're a sharp one. I'm in.
Anybody else joining, or is Galthac going to be in 1v1
I will
combat
not.
with this creature?
No, I'm going with
I'm-
Galthac. I'm like behind him, like tiny.
Kai, give me a nature check with advantage.
Nature. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not a great
What a-
modifier, but definitely something.
Oh,
to remember.
it's a wonderful +1.
Well, that's better than a -2.
Yeah.
Double 17.
Double
18.
Look at you.
18. Let's go.
Yeah, so when she said sea serpent, you have heard of sea serpents, you have seen sea serpents. It's said that they are one half of the life cycle of a dragon. So what a sea serpent is doing in a lake in the middle of the land, you have no idea, but it's said that they grow endlessly until they cocoon and become dragons. Even a baby sea serpent is an absolute terror on Trident lands if they get too close. An adult one, in the Trident cities, they'd send the whole army. But Galthac's kind of an army, right?
God damn.
Yeah.
Only Kai has this information, right?
Yeah, but it's assumed that, Kai can tell you. But she says to you, come! We will take the ritual, head to the Blue Lake. But will you slay it yourselves? Or do you need the armor of Virago at your side?
He's
Do you wish to
offering
claim the glory
join
of your own? Or shall we slay it together?
As intriguing as taking the glory of my own would be, I consider you equal. We go together.
He's got manners, at least. And burgers. Delivery. Fucking fantastic.
Galthak is just eating a burger right now.
That is the best thing that's
Fuck yes.
happened all evening.
Oh my god.
I had to go hunt down the guy who was delivering it. He like
Oh
called
my
me. He was
God,
like,
oh
"I don't
my
know where
God.
you are." I was like, "I'm in the snow in my pajamas."
What's that fucking Deliveroo nightmares right now?
Just eat, I believe. Anyway, so Galthak has agreed to take Virago at his side as you slay the great sea serpent, the Lady of the Lake, in group combat, I believe. And she said that if he can strike the final blow, she will bow to him as a worthy warrior.
Ah.
Sorry, that's really good. She turns to you
I bet.
and she says, I will aid you in the quelling of its minions and in bringing the beast to bear, but 'tis you that must slay it for me to truly bow to you and, well, reduce those practices the Duke finds least tasteful, shall we say. That is what you want, is it not?
Keep things in check. Yes. That's what we came for.
Don't the stories say that you guys have a dragon?
I think he was getting pastries last I saw.
At this, she looks, for the first time, hesitant. She's been so confident for all this time, and when you say the dragon is off getting pastries, she hesitates for a moment, and then she sort of lets out a jest, and a fine one at that.
Ah, yes.
Yes. So, to the lake?
To the
So,
lake.
As this is happening, the guards sort of all stand suddenly to attention, as descending from a large, from the staircase downwards from the palatial building, is quite a grandiose gentleman. He stands about 6'2". He appears to have some elven descent. And as he sort of strides down, he looks at you all and welcome. Welcome to my city. Pleasure to have you. Duke Laneth. And he sort of gestures towards himself.
give him a nod.
I see you've met Virago.
Yes.
Any of you going to mention anything about what's just been said?
Are we... Oh, I thought she was still there. Or
She
did
is,
she
but
walk
she
off?
lets you talk.
Oh. Oh. Well,
It seems
Yes.
at the moment we have a common goal that we might
Mhm.
achieve.
And what is that?
I hear you have a lake problem, spirit problem.
The spirit of the lake? Far be it from me to doubt your abilities. But, would your efforts not be better spent elsewhere? At the coast, for example? Than on a mythical beast of vast proportions?
I do believe you summoned us here.
I didn't summon you to risk your lives.
Isn't that just the hazard of the job?
He sort of looks very awkward, sort of hesitant to admit that he called to the king for help with Virago. And also really hesitant to let the heroes of the realm die to some lake beast. And he sort of
Shit.
goes, Well, I suppose we should at least have the... I see you brought your own minstrel. Very good. Starling Birdsong, welcome to my city, fair lady.
Good. She was there the whole time. She's hearing all this.
She wasn't. This is she'd sort of wandered off amongst the crowd. You see her approaching you with a ginger-haired lady that Luca was really rude to. Who was really rude to Luca is what I was trying to say. Yeah, and she sort of comes over and my lord, you had a man stood accused, the father of this lady, Jenna. Caro, I believe his name is. Your warrior lady there struck the stockades from his arms. Is he free to go? The lord sort of hesitates and looks around and notices the 15 or so strangely tattooed people with animal skins and all of the crowd sort of standing around and yes. He doesn't look happy about it.
Probably better this way.
Sensible.
Well, I suppose we should pay witness to your grand deeds, but from a distance, I suppose. Strike the boats from the harbor. Get them the space they need.
Oh, okay. We're doing this right now, immediately.
And as he says this, Luca just sort of wanders out of the patisserie.
Look at it.
Don't think he has any idea what's going on.
Both he and Vero have sugar all over their mouth from jelly donuts.
Great.
Oh,
The dragon and
I
the
hope
donut.
you got some for the rest of us.
That is next episode's title, The Dragon and the Donut.
Oh, fuck yes. Let's fucking go over that.
Okay. Yeah. You are led by Virago down to a sort of shore, I guess, is the best way of putting it, with a small island a little way out to sea. And swirling there is an area of water that appears a little unnatural in its motions.
If I had to hazard a guess, that's where our hunt lie.
Likely. She sort of points out, and we should raise the beast's ire. And she
Can we do that?
takes her bow and she strings it. And she fires a shot at what appears to be some sort of water elemental. You may place yourselves on the shore over here, the south of the map. You should be able to see the whole map, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'll pop myself on and then I'll be right back. 10 seconds or so.
Okay.